Uniswap is my favorite decentralized exchange to use, and their UNI token is one of my largest altcoin holdings. With their version 3 of their DEX launching recently in May of 2021, their potential and trajectory are sky high. Now, this video is not going to be an overview or explainer of Uniswap. Rather, I'm going to share my personal analysis of this project and include some pros and cons that I found. Because while I think this project is the gold standard of all DEXs, there are some aspects that really make me scratch my head as a UNI investor. So if this sounds interesting to you at all, then strap in my friend and let's dive right in. One of my biggest regrets of my crypto journey was selling my airdropped UNI tokens near the bottom. Because remember, they gave 400 UNI tokens to any Ethereum address that traded with them in the past. I was super happy because finally I qualified for a freaking airdrop, right? 400 UNI was worth around $1,000 when they first launched, but then the price of UNI rocketed from $3 to $8 and then back down to the $2 levels where it ranged sideways for months. I got too impatient and sold early, but then it rocketed to a high of over $40, which would have made the airdrop worth around $16,000 at its peak. Good thing I bought back in, but dang, this is always my luck, right? Sell something and then it rockets right afterwards. But the airdrop itself was a brilliant move because it got me to take a closer look and try them out again with all their new bells and whistles. Now, the strongest reason to like Uniswap is their undeniable adoption and success. We can use a bunch of different metrics to make this case, but I'm gonna throw some on the table here. Right, if you look at total value locked by liquidity providers, this number surpassed a whopping $8 billion in early May. They also reached a high of over $16 billion in weekly trading volume. They even surpassed the mighty Bitcoin network in fees generated for some days. These numbers are among the best for all of DeFi, and it's even more impressive considering how they got this organically without giving token incentives to LPs like other protocols did. Their success is a little less surprising though if we look at the team and their origin story. Founder Hayden Adams used to be a mechanical engineer, but he taught himself how to code smart contracts to build the early versions of Uniswap. He didn't do this all by himself though. He got a lot of help from other Ethereum projects and constantly asked for feedback from people like Vitalik Buterin, for example. By listening to the community and learning from prior projects that failed, he and his team worked quickly and launched something that truly resonated with us. Now, even though they have a super tiny team, they aren't alone. They also got backed by some of the world's top VCs like Andreessen Horowitz and Union Square Ventures. Another thing that's super impressive is how fast they launch new features. Uniswap V1 launched in November of 2018, with V2 coming out in May 2020, and just 1 year later, they launched V3 in May 2021. They did all this with a team of less than 10 people, and you can compare this to Coinbase, which has over 1,000 employees. And the reason why I bring up Coinbase is that Uniswap is able to serve a similar number of users and handle similar amounts of trading volume too. This is the power of decentralized finance. And what's most impressive to me is that with all the code they've shipped over the years, the protocol itself has never experienced a hack or major bug. This just speaks to the quality of their code and the audits they've gotten as well. Their competitors can't say the same though. Just look at BurgerSwap on Binance Smart Chain. They cloned Uniswap, changed a few lines they shouldn't have, and then got $7 million worth of funds stolen in an attack. I mean, come on, what a joke, right? They had one thing to do. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why I consider Uniswap the king of DEXs in my eyes. Now, if I take off my rose-colored glasses for a second, there are some negatives we have to consider though, like with their token. After 2024, there's a perpetual 2% yearly inflation rate, which means the supply of UNI tokens will constantly increase. Why? Well, they wrote that it's to ensure continued participation and contribution to Uniswap at the expense of passive UNI holders, right? This is probably healthier for the ecosystem, but just know that's probably not a good idea to only passively hodl. Rather, we'll likely have to contribute in some way to earn more UNI and counteract the effects of inflation. Uniswap also doesn't give us token holders a cut of the fees, whereas SushiSwap does. I personally would love to have a cut of the fees because that's passive income, right? And that would make holding UNI even sweeter. But that's where the fee switch comes in. By voting and governance, us token holders can decide to activate this fee switch, which would give us a percentage of the trading fees. This brings up another important point though, and that is I'm not sure we can make that change even if the majority of us wanted to, because of the token distribution. If we take a look at this chart of the initial token allocation, it looks amazing, right? 60% goes to the community, but actually only 17% was for the initial airdrop and their liquidity mining program. And the rest of that is held in the treasury, which is controlled by all token holders collectively, which means that the team and early investors actually have a ton of power too, because they hold a lot of the tokens. So even if all community members wanted to turn on the fee switch right now, it would be a no-go unless the team was on board too. Now there's a lot more concerns about their governance, but that gets pretty into the weeds, right? So I'll leave a couple links for you down below for further reading if you'd like. I'll just say this though, other projects that did a fair launch definitely look better compared to Uniswap's pre-mine, at least in this regard. Another potential hurdle is one of the version 3 changes that they rolled out, because their new liquidity provider or LP tokens are now NFTs, which causes some unique issues because these NFTs are not interchangeable, right? That's the nature of NFTs. So you can't just bring them into other DeFi protocols to yield farm or do other things with them like we can with the V2 LP tokens. This is a trade-off they made, less composability with other DeFi projects in order to make LPs' capitals work more efficiently. We'll have to wait and see to see if there are any ripple effects to this decision, or if teams are able to figure out some creative solution to this change. If you aren't familiar with all the major V3 changes, you should definitely watch my explainer video I'll leave for you up above and in the description down below. Now, aside from all that, I think the biggest risk for Uniswap is related to their copycats and competitors. But before I get to that, a quick shout out to CoinRule, also our video sponsors. They've built a tool that lets you create automated trading strategies, or bots per se, in a super easy manner. You don't need to know how to code at all. You can utilize a wide range of strategies like stop losses, rebalancing, following the trend, and so forth. And they connect to all your top exchanges such as Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, whatever, right? They have a great track record already, serving over 60,000 users and handling over 2 million trades with over $500 million flowing through their service. If this is something up your alley, definitely go try them out using my link down below. So one thing you gotta know about the crypto space is that projects' code are usually open source. So if any project sees success, you'll see copycats pop up in droves. They just fork the project, change a couple things, and then boom, there you have it, your own version of the project live on the blockchain. I mean, SushiSwap was a great example of this, and PancakeSwap too, but they're on the Binance Smart Chain. Normally we'd be like, who cares, right? But these copycats actually hurt Uniswap. For example, SushiSwap pulled off a vampire attack on Uniswap before, getting people to deposit their Uniswap LP tokens in exchange for sushi tokens. And then they used those LP tokens to withdraw liquidity from Uniswap and migrate it over to their protocol. It was a brilliant move by Sushi, but that got Uni concerned about their future. So what was their solution? Well, this surprised me big time, but they announced that their version 3 code would be available under a business license. This means that other teams cannot straight up use their code for a 2-year period, after which it converts back to a normal public license. They explained that this approach will allow the Uni community to be the first to build an ecosystem around their new code base. And I buy their reasoning, but I can see why many other people were not fans of it. The only issue is that this doesn't stop anonymous teams from forking them anyways. It'll only deter public teams, and even then they'd have to hire lawyers to sue them if someone violates the license. And no one really wants to do that in the crypto space, besides Craig Wright, I guess. But even without copycats, Uniswap still faces tough competition. You got cross-chain dexes on the up and up like ThorChain or Gravity Dex, and those let you do things that Uniswap cannot offer at all. At the end of the day, they're all competing for limited users and liquidity, right? And that's why I chose this issue of copycats and competitors as my biggest concern. Because LPs are fickle. They move their liquidity around on a whim to chase the best return. And if dexes don't have sufficient liquidity, their users are not gonna have a good experience, right? That's why this is so important, and we have to keep our eyes on how things play out with their new license. And also monitor how they're able to continue innovating to beat their competitors in the future. Now, pro tip right here, go try out other dexes or DeFi protocols because they might give you airdrops in the future, just like Uniswap did. And those tokens can be worth a ton if you hodl and a huge bull run happens, like we've seen many times in the past before. Just be patient unlike me, and also be sure to take some profits though on the way up. Now for Uniswap and their Uni token, I gotta say they're worth the hype. They got a grand vision of building a trading experience that rivals or beats centralized exchanges, but with all the benefits of decentralization. Now that is a pretty lofty goal indeed, and if you told me about this 2-3 years ago, I'd have laughed you out of the room. But now with their volume exceeding centralized exchanges, and with me personally using Uniswap more often than Coinbase or Binance these days, I can definitely see a clear path to their goal. And if any team can deliver, it is them, one of the true trailblazers in this space. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my analysis though. Now, there's not a lot of these pros and cons videos on YouTube, so it took me quite a bit of time to make this. If you like this format, be sure to check out my Polygon and Matic worth the hype video up here, and my Uniswap V3 explainer here as well. I'm Kevin from BFB, hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and cheers.